So what better way to follow up Kiva than with another volume of Mushoku Tensei? I say kind of jokingly, because I like talking about Mushoku Tensei. Anyway, for those of you who don't remember where we left off last time with this series, in the last volume, Rudy officially reunited with Sylphie, and the pair, did the do. So, let's see where we go from there. So, yeah, Rudy is basically the happiest he's been in quite a while, probably in the entirety of his adult life so far. His academy life is going pretty smoothly as he has friends and a girlfriend in Sylphie. Well, girlfriend for now, because Rudy being Rudy, and after being asked his intentions of the relationship between the pair, he decides to go full ham and outright proposes, and the pair are set to be wedded. And thus the wedding is on, and some necessary spending has to be done, such as buying a house that turns out to be haunted. So this one's a pretty slow one with a lot more drama focus and focusing more on Rudy's evolving relationships with everyone else around him and the friendships and relationships he's built up during his school life. This one in particular focuses a lot on Nanahoshi, as well as her quest to get home, as remember she is a Japanese youth, in fact one of the Japanese youths that Rudy attempted to save before he died in his previous life, and she is partly connected to why he's in this world, but not 100%. Anyway, Rudy and Nanahoshi work together, as Nanahoshi's basically at the end of her rope of basically all the progress she hasn't made in her attempt to get home. Also, partway through the volume, we get the return of Rudy's sisters, who are sent by Paul to live with him to basically have a more stable life than travel around with the old man and going to dangerous locations. This is kind of a bridging chapter. Like, every chapter is a portion of Rudy's life, but this one doesn't have a main thoroughfare through it. It's basically, here's how we are, and this is where we're going, as it focuses a lot more on Rudy and his relationships with everyone else, until we eventually get to the sisters joining, who will be the main focus of the next volume. And yeah, basically this is just setting up a status quo, and focusing a lot on Nanahoshi's arc. Speaking of, Nanahoshi is basically going through the major stuff of this entire thing. She's hit a rough patch in her teleportation research. As I mentioned, she has basically made no progress, as she tries to construct a complicated teleport circle, but fails no matter what she does. And obviously the failure leads to her going into a very depressive slump, with Rudy helping her out and basically gathering whatever friends he can to put their heads together to find some way to, make the teleport circles actually work, which obviously they inevitably do, because Rudy is surrounded by actually pretty smart people. It was honestly a pretty cool volume, if only for the sole slice of life you feel it has, which we haven't really had since the early chapters, if you ask me. As most of it has been the early chapters, then Rudy going on an adventure to get back to home, and then settling down in the academy as of the last few volumes. And yeah, we have some facts, such as Elenise, I cannot pronounce her name for the life of me, being revealed to be Sylphie's grandmother from her father. And it's kind of a touching scene, but Elenise trying to deny it because of her reputation of being a dick gremlin, and how that's led to her not being well looked upon, and how her kids have suffered because of it. But, she was spoken well of by Sylphie's father, who's her son, and as such, Sylphie wants to have a pre-relationship with her grandmother. This basically shows the overall strength of the characters that have been built up over the volumes and Rudy's bond with them. We also have Rajude's return for a hot minute, and as he is one of my favorite characters in the story, having him come back at all for any length of time is pretty cool. It is cool to see Rajude and Rudy talking as more adults, as Rajude, even though he did respect Rudy as an adult by the end of their journey, it's good to see him reunite with an adult Rudy, and basically try to give Rudy some last-minute fatherly advice, as he's basically served as another father figure for Rudy throughout the course of this story. Mainly in him and Eris's relationship, as he basically figures out what exactly is going on between them in 5.2 seconds. Even though he's also disappointed that Eris isn't there, because he was looking forward to seeing her again as well. But still, congratulations Rudy on the marriage. So, yeah, this seems to be a good volume for a good series. And as far as series weddings go, this one goes by without much dramatic crap going down, which is super rare for this kind of stuff. Because most of the time you have like all the enemies coming to attack the heroes at the wedding when they're at their weakest, which can lead to some cool moments, but also can lead to some pretty cliche things. But yeah, getting a peek at what the future has, or well, what the story is going to go for, considering the fact that now everybody has essentially settled down in his own ways with Sylphie, is pretty good as we move into the next arc of Rudy's life. But where will we go from there? Well, from here, we'll find out in Volume 11. Oh boy.